Well, round seven's fantasy and Supercoach results, we're sitting at 1,339 overall for fantasy, which is pretty good. I'm happy with that overall, and we'll check it out compared to last year's analyzer as well, which will be good fun in a sec. But 1,010 this week with majority good scores, to be fair. I did trade in Nico Hines in last week there, and I ended up trading in Katonga as well, which I was very upset about. Come the end of that game most of that game on Monday there with Stafford Toa, unfortunately a 28 for him in his lowest score of the year, which is pretty crazy actually. He's been incredibly special this year, and to think that starting with him at 250k he'd actually get up to the 512 is just remarkable. I was very, very happy with it. A lot of the picks we had from the start, just based on stats alone, Seyfarth being one of them, hasn't lived up to the high 40s average that we thought. We knew Stafford Toa could be a 40s guy, and that's exactly what he's been. It was higher than that before this 28. Now he's down at a 45, but he was up at 48.5. And to make 262k is awesome. I'm very, very happy with that. And he's an interesting player that we might have to look at over the next few weeks. But yeah, Katonga, that's the sad one there at 446k. He's one that I'd love to just absolutely punt straight away. But we'll have to see how it plays out and the combinations I want to work with this week for trades. And yes, I won't be not trading again. We definitely haven't gone down that no trade route. We've done the one trade once. We're very, very happy here to have held Tamale this week. He was going to go to Sharp, like I mentioned in the other video. And yeah, I'm glad I kept him for his 55. He makes some cash this week, and he'll have a low break even coming into this one as well, which is good. Jenkins at 20, he's been the frustrating one in the side over the last few weeks. He started really well with a 50 odd for my side, and people bought him. He got 40, and then a couple of low ones the last few weeks, unfortunately. So he's definitely on the chopping block. And the question is, with a lot of these guys, is with them being available for round 12, it can be enticing to keep hold of them. And I definitely think that's something I've learned over the last bunch of years, is that if you can just continue to upgrade your side, once you come to sort of round 12, 13, 14, 15 there, you'll have a pretty good team that you may not have to trade as much through that period, because you're not sitting there having to play a Jenkins in a non-major bye, or in a major bye week, or even in like around 14 when we have some Roosters out, or these types of questions will come up. And if you just have a better side in general, you may not have to make that decision and therefore not have to trade. So they're the kind of decisions you do need to have a look at over the next few weeks, is how long do I want to hold these cheapy type of players that may not make me money but can be helpful for a round 12. Tamale, one of those guys with the dual position that's actually majority of the time scored 40 plus. So that's where you could look at him and go, it's a pretty solid hold. Brimson at 509k. With JC out, I think he becomes more important to their side, and I think that we can hold him at this price. If he's near 600k, the way he's playing, it's probably not. But at the moment, it is completely fine. And yes, he keeps scoring tries, but he is an attacking style of player. Cleary was awesome. Probably want him for the next 3 weeks, I think. Round 8, round 9, round 10. Before you either have to sell or he's going to miss a bunch of weeks there. Nico I did buy for his 56. He looked a lot better on the weekend, to be fair. So happy with that. And hopefully it's mid-50s plus for the remainder of the season, but at least the next 3, 4, 5 weeks there, whilst he's not highly owned. Egan's 51, named on the bench again. Hopefully he can get back into that starting side, and they do have Emre Gula returning with Stewart out of the side, so I wonder if minutes will drop for him or for Couch, who both performed really, really well on Thursday night. Terrell May captain, I think I'll just be sticking with him longer term. He's averaging 74.9. He's just an absolute freak, and basically going 80 minutes 3 of the last 4 weeks has been very, very important as well. Watson was great, 67. We'll ride him all the way until at least round 10, and we'll make decisions there. Isaiah Yeo and Payne Haas doing the job this week. With Mamzel's 55 was really, really good. He's such an animal for our side. He'll be held as long as I can. Pistol Pete, the legend. Siwa Wong, 45 for him. just the worries around the inconsistency now. After him being very consistent in the first 4 weeks or so, it's been big score and then a 32 into this 45, which wouldn't be so bad unless he, but because he got the 32 the week before, it becomes more worrisome. And then Horsburgh's minutes aren't great, but his PPM's incredible, and Nicholson with 49. And then we have Rob Toyer likely just to come back into the starting side in centre this week. And, they're up against the Dragons and up against Val Holmes, but Sione Finau on that left-hand side defensively with Nwangani Tawaze next to him. I think that can be a fun little combination for our side. And this week sitting with Katonga, with Hubner, and with Yongi out. So I'm glad to have held Yongi. I think he can actually be a solid guy to hold over someone like Jenkins coming into round 12. And Sandon Smith or Hugo Savala, whoever you have out of those two, is also a guy that's just doing enough, and Savala's going to start making money now as well. So that's where my side's sitting. The two trade-ins last week with Katonga and with Hines added a couple more round 12 buy plays for me, which got me closer to the 9 mark, which is ideal. And I think it's 9 or 10 with depending on if Horsburgh is available for this side. But yeah, very happy with that little improvement. It could have been a little bit better with Stafford and with Katonga going a little bit low. I was hoping to finish at 999 was my goal, but we'll get into that top 1,000 this week here. And moving on to round 8, we're sitting with 265k in the bank, and guys like Fletcher Sharp, guys like Marzu, guys like Karaz. Well, do I need another half now? They got Hines, probably not. There's guys like Aaron Clark. There's Hugo Savala that can help me do a few things. There's Herbie Farnworth. Lots of different guys that could potentially be on the menu. Jacob Preston, my boy Dylan Lucas is back. Lots of different guys there. Max King, people looking at 729. It's pretty wild, actually. But he's averaging 59. He's having a cracking season so far. Yeah, Isaiah Katoa, 675. Plenty of options there that can do a good job for you. And for Tedesco owners, he didn't lose too much in cash, which was good there. Now let's just have a quick look to where I was at this time last year, following the end of round 7. So let's look at 2024. And alright, NRL Fantasy. Let's see how many of those there are. Maybe too many before me, given I ranked pretty well at 757. But for last year, we did sit at round 7 at 7,110. So that was a good improvement for the few weeks before. I had that bad week with Gutho, and that down to 20,000 to 15,000, 7,100, and down to 3,000 in round 8. And the first time I got into a rank where I am now was round 14 was the first time that I was this basically exact rank that I am now. So I'm 7 rounds ahead of where I was last year, and I did make it all the way into 232 was my best ranking last year. So vastly improved from where we were at that point. And if we are looking at trades, I did go double trade every single week, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, triple in round 7. So by this stage last year, I had max traded. This year currently, I'm sitting with 25, which the max trades as of this point, before trades this week, is down to 23. So I saved 1 in round 5 or 4, and then I didn't use a third this week, just gone. So sitting in a better trades position and a way better ranking, which is awesome. So very, very happy with that setup, and actually be fun to quickly check what it looks like, my team looked like in round 7 last year. It was Grant, Cotter, Terrell May, Max Plath. Oh, that was the week I bought Plathy, wasn't it? Yeah. Plath, Blore, Kale Iro. Whew, how good's that? Angus at that cheap price. Shawnee Blore, Hines, and Fogarty. Hines was $1 million last year at this time. And when did I buy in Fogs? Round 4. Kale Iro and Strange, the cheapies. Karaz I started with, had Pap as well. I started with and brought in Gutho at 586. Gross. Salmon, Galvin, Kuppies Paul, Hughes, Lussick, Levi, Pikura, and Blaze Talangi. So that is, in terms of cheapies that are under, 350k? Blaze Talangi, Pikura, Danny Levi, Lussick was mid-tier. Sam Hughes was under that point, so there's 4. Galvin was way up at that point. Salmon was near the 400 mark. Euro was cheap. Stranger's still fairly cheap. So, yeah, sitting with like 6 or so real cheap guys. And this year we're not sitting with as many, which just shows that we've really, gone well in terms of cash generation. But yeah, a good little snapshot for I think you guys should look at as well. Back at 2024 as to where you're at and might help you make some, feel better or make some decisions that you may not in terms of, should I hold trades or not? Should I trade? I feel like I traded a lot last year, but it didn't really affect me apart from like a couple of rounds there. So if you're preparing, you should be fine. So yeah, that's my side. Let's go into the top rankings there just to see how we compare. Sitting at 1339, I am 330 points behind first, which isn't a lot at all. At 6,400, if I go down to 20th, I'm actually 228 points behind 20th overall, which is pretty crazy. And 50th, it's, 294, so 194, sorry. So it's, not too far behind. If you just have a good couple of weeks, I could easily push into the top 200, 150, 100 fairly quickly. So that's my goal here. And shout out to Jakey Venn in the private crew. He's sitting there at 48th, and we'll get into the rest of it now. Straight to that private crew, sitting 74th out of the 380. So there you go. With Kyle sitting there in 13th position, having an absolute flyer, 1,064 for him. Thomas is sitting there at 41st, incredible. Jakey Boy at 48th, as I said. Andrew, who was sitting a little bit higher last week, unfortunately at 959, but still sitting in 49th overall. Then we have Danielle in 63rd. We have Oscar in 68th there. Hayden in 76. Absolutely flying the crew. Bradley, who was a bit higher before, but a great bounce back there. I think it was at 200th last week. Back into 95th. And then we finish it off with Ev, the straight 100th rank overall. So we have 9 in the private crew in the top 100, which is absolutely incredible. So shout out to everyone in there. And then Nath, who's been on the videos there, sitting in 135, having an incredible season with 1,026. Beat me this week with Jeremy, Sally, Greg, Will, Dean, Wok, Brandon, Alex, CJ, and Sam rounding out the top 20. So our 20 best private groupers right now are sitting in the top 293. So incredible work from all of you guys. And yeah, keep it up. Doing a great job. So where's my private group league? Got a win there. Third. Sorry, Will. Big Barra to beat you on that one. Fantasy Field, 1,046. My partner Ish got 961, so not too bad. Improved her rankings. But she finally gets to remove Reece Walsh out of the side. Which will be, she's just flabbergasted how poor he can score after how consistent he'd been over the last few years. So time to remove him and rocket up that leaderboard, I think. Podcasters. Sitting in 5th, they basically held rank. Yeah, I did exactly 5th there. I'm tied with Austin, who moved up, beat me by 15 points, so moved ahead of me into, very, very, I don't know how that works. We're both on the same points, and he's 4 spots ahead of me. Rough. But Josh with a hectic score, 1,109. Wow. Very, very impressive. Nick there with 1,044, sitting in 397 overall, and then Jordan, another great week for him, 1,085 for a 155 rank. So we can see there the guys into the top 10 of the podcasters really improving into good ranks there, which is expected across the season. But yeah, it's good to see it all in full force. And then Mr. Casual Athlete, 944 for him after his massive score last week, so just fell back a little bit. And you would have seen, we're about to see Scoop's video. He's sitting at 3678 with a good score this week. And we've got Mitchy Boy, you've just saw his video. He's on the improve. From here, it's going to be a big... Yeah, I think following along with what Mitch is saying is going to work out. He doesn't have bad years. So, sitting at 8,378, it's time for him to really make some good moves there. You got Marky Jessup. I saw he's in Europe as well. He's sitting at 11,000. Improvements to be made. And, yeah, Eddie, all the rest there. So, there you go. That's the podcaster stuff. We'll leave it at that, I believe, for the results for fantasy. And then just a quick one on Supercoach. We just can't seem to push forward into better rankings, unfortunately, whether it's getting captaincy wrong or had JC to trade out and end up bringing in Dewey for a lower score, but sitting at 5,992, score of 1222 this week, nothing crazy, 32 trades available for my side, and the scores this week, Starling's score popped out, we had Haas, Tino, May, all great, Eli Katoa's 37 was really painful, Cleary there 116 was good, Dewey 36, Munster 55, but that 5/8 position is pretty gross. Greg Marzu kind of saved the day for us with 138. We had Garrick, Jenkins 39-38 was gross. Gutho 57. The holding of Ponga has been tough time, so hopefully he can turn it around sometime in this next 4 weeks before he goes to Origin. I didn't play Tamale or Shibasaki, who got decent scores. But yeah, we definitely need some bigger scores down here in fullback, would be great. And then we're going to improve the centre wing a little bit this week. And it'd be great to have my boy Purdue back, who is crushing it, coming off that 130, and he's going to score well again this week against the Titans. I can't wait for it. And yeah, he's going to be going up against Weaver and those guys on that side there. So that part will be fun. We'll get into the buy, hold, sell and my trades for Supercoach as well, but just a quick one on the leagues of sitting there with a 312k in the bank as well. So moves to be made. JBFA crew are sitting in a pretty decent spot. There's a few guys there just outside the top 1,000 in Matt, in Lachlan, in Jared there, and Jaden, all within 1,000 to 2,000 there, and then Stuart, the other Matt, there's always Matt's here, 3 of them in the top 9, before myself there at 14th, so we're doing okay in there, moving in the right direction for the most part, or if we didn't this week, it was a very small drop, like we saw with Matty, Jared, and Jaden and myself. So, yeah, doing okay. Podmasters, I'm still 23rd out of 104, so we're sitting okay there, but we just need to push forward in the right direction. We've got Guy, Chris, and Matthew in the top 100, which is very impressive. James with a cracking 1453, we're sitting 2,300 overall into 245 with that big score. So it can change very quickly, and that's what I'm waiting for myself in this one here. The Kuma Stallions in there at 3,300. Can't believe we're getting close to Magic Round as well, guys. Can't wait for that. So, yeah, we're going to leave the results video there, guys. One more All-Stars one, which is good. Sitting second. That's good. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in for the results. You'll get my best buys of the week coming up very soon, later today. See you guys.